did you have any female artists that really touched you growing up?
Mm, yes. I kind of look at them right now as a collection of female artists
Okay.
because I am deeply passionate about women in rock music in general. And I take pieces from a lot of women in rock, pieces of their talent and their individual personalities. And I've kind of combined them into this um, this iconic woman of rock god that I pray to or look up to, that has kind of raised me as well next to Elvis. I learned so much from Elvis, and he's my biggest influence. But there's definitely pieces from Joan Jett,
Oh yeah.
Melissa
Oh
Etheridge,
yeah.
Alanis Morissette,
Yes.
Gwen Stefani,
Yes.
Janis Joplin,
Oh my
Pat
gosh.
Benatar, Stevie Nicks.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. You just wait. I just have to say this real quick. You just mentioned every one of my female favorites. Okay, I've
I
seen
love
most
it.
of them in
Also
concert.
Pink. Also
Okay.
Pink.
Okay,
I
and
love
Pink.
Pink. But there's pieces of all those artists and women that have, I feel like, in a lot of ways, taught me what it means to be a female entertainer on stage. Because growing up in entertainment from 12, you spend a lot of time getting told who to be, how to act, how to look, how to dress,
Hmm.
and after a while, you have a really hard time knowing who you are because you're just so busy trying to fit everybody else's vision of something. And it took me throughout my 20s to really know who the heck I am and what is it that I bring to the table. And I feel like I had to borrow and be inspired by the tenacity of a lot of those women to come into my own and to kind of own who I am as
Okay.
an entertainer, as a stage performer, as a female rock artist. Um, and that is why I created my Women of Rock show, because I not so much just need to sing rock music by women. I deeply care to honor um, the trailblazers that have inspired me. And I want all of us collectively in a room together, not just the band on stage, not just me, the singer, but the audience too. I want us to all experience what it means to be in the presence of trailblazers that are never afraid to just be themselves, and how powerful that is, especially when it's really going against the grain. And that's been monumental for me as an entertainer and a woman, and a woman too,
Okay,
in general,
beautiful.
honestly.
So before we play your next song, tell everyone when is your first show? Is it going to be your first show as the Queen sings the King?
So no, it's going to be on March 15th. I have a show for Gina B's Women of Rock.
Oh, okay.
Now that's a project that came about in 2018. I was inspired after opening a show for a Blues Brothers show in AC. I was a last minute opening act job I got, and I brought a bunch of karaoke tracks of, I had like Melissa Etheridge, Janis Joplin, Tina Turner, a bunch of women of rock, and I just threw it together, performed it. I knew AC was all about, oh, you got to wear the tight dresses and the heels and, sing the big pop songs. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm going there with my blazer, my motorcycle boots, because I'm a motorcycle rider. I'm like, I'm going to sing the rock songs I know and love. I'm going to talk about the women and why they're awesome. And I hope they like it. And when the show was over, it's one of my favorite memories from a show. I had this group of women, all different ages, come up to me, and they were very wide eyed. And they just said to me, they were like, I don't know what it was about. They were like, first of all, we loved your voice. And I was like, great. But they were like, but it was something about your performance and your passion and your confidence. It made me want to be just like you, and it made me want to be up
Oh,
there with you. They're like, you like empowered me by the way you were talking about the confidence of these women and the way you're inspired. They're like, I just wanted to be up there with you, and they like were grabbing me like as if they like knew me. And I was like, now see, that's I mean,
that's
in
what
my
it's
words,
about. That's what it's
that's
about.
that's God moving through
Right.
me to reach people. That's
Yes.
what it's about right there.
Right.
So ever since that, I was like, well, I want to turn this into a bigger show because I'm really passionate about these women I'm covering too. So for March 15th, that's going to be our first full stage production. It's kind of like our big workshop production of Women of Rock, which
Okay.
is a show honoring a bunch of different women of rock that I love with arrangements that I've helped create. Some are medleys, some are standalone songs There's a lot of fun bits, audience interactive moments, a lot of fun patter where we talk about the inspiration for the songs we're choosing and the women we're representing and why we're representing them, and also the effect they have on us. Again, no impersonations at all. It's a very vulnerable
Yeah.
show where we're talking to the audience like they're our friends.
And where is
And
it?
it's going to be at the Belmore Movie Theater and Showplace on Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah, and every show that we do for Women of Rock, just like this show, is going to be opened with an original female artist act. And I wanted to do that because we're in a time in entertainment right now where tribute acts are getting a lot of ticket sales, and that's great. That's wonderful. But we need to do a little bit more to help bring up the next trailblazers, the
Right.
next grouping of trailblazers. And I was like, if I want to be a real support to women entertainers, what can I do? So we decided every show is going to open with an original artist, which I don't see any tribute shows really doing too much to that, opening with an original act. And so we got Rory Kelly, who is also now a part of the Women of Rock band lineup, which wasn't originally the situation. She's incredible. She's amazing. She's an inspiration to me. She's an inspirational talent and a fantastic songwriter, and I'm so excited she's opening the show. And we're also donating a part of our ticket sales to the Carol M. Baldwin Breast Cancer Research Fund. Breast cancer has affected so many people in my life and my family. Also, some of the artists we're covering, like Melissa Etheridge, just a badass woman of rock who has beat breast cancer. So what a better way to honor someone like her and my family than to also make that a part of our show too. I want the show to feel like a community experience, not just another random piece of entertainment that someone's going to go to and never think of again. I want it to sit with people a little bit. And that's why it's an experience.
Beautiful.
So I'm very excited about it.
Beautiful.
Very excited.
So let's give everyone a treat, producer, and let's play a second song.
Think I forgot how to be happy. Something I'm not, something I can be, something I'm made for. Something I'm made for.
Okay, tell us about that song.
So that song, it's funny because I tend to like to follow older artists, right? The artists that I listen to on the daily are not the newer artists, but that song stuck with me. It's from the Barbie movie soundtrack. It's a Billie Eilish tune, and it's a really slow song all about um, what was I made for? What am I doing here in this life? What is my purpose here? Well, trying to figure out your own sense of self-worth. And I that song really stuck out to me because I feel like so many of us spend time introspectively thinking about like what the heck am I made for? And wanting to see how far we could push ourselves in this life. And I was listening to that song on repeat, and I come from the time of the early 2000s where pop punk and emo music was big. So not only do I have these huge influences on like older music, Elvis, jazz, all these things, but I'm also, I graduated high school in 2009. So in 2005, 6, 7, 8, the pop punk scene was huge, and there was artists like Avril Lavigne, who is another huge influence on me in my younger years, and I'm excited to also honor in the Women of Rock project. Her style of music is really influential of me, and for some reason, when I was listening to this Billie Eilish tune, and I was thinking about performing it in my own voice with my own style, I couldn't help but hear it with this pop punk take on it. So I got my friend Andrew Nikolai, who is a pop punk connoisseur. We're around the same age. He totally understands that sound with me. And I just went over to his place one day and I started singing it like that and explaining to him how I see the arrangement. And him and I work really well together. And he also was like, yes, and what about this? And what about this? And before we knew it, we're like, all right, we got to record this. I got to record this in my way, in my voice. And I just want it to be one of those special projects that come out of the Women of Rock brand. Because last year, him and I and a bunch of friends also recorded an original medley of Stevie Nicks songs because she was coming to UBS Arena and we wanted to honor her. And so I produced that project where we also recorded a medley. And you can find that on Spotify. It's called For Stevie. And we have some great performers on that as well, including Gabby Rose, who is a monster saxophonist who's been on tour with the Jonas Brothers and Bill Marie and all these other bands. She's all over the world. So I highly recommend listening to that as well. But yeah, this song and performing it in this style just felt deeply personal to me. Because I'm a woman who is constantly trying to do better, constantly
Okay.
trying to do better, constantly trying to be better, constantly trying to be introspective and learn how I can grow. And also, coming from this arts world, there's a lot of ebbs and flows in this, and you spend a lot of time thinking, what do I really got left in the tank? What can I really do? And what can I do that's actually going to mean something to someone and feel good? Because I don't want to live a purposeless life.
Okay.
So I think where I was in my personal life last year, that song was just really speaking to me and felt like something I had to get out. And we created a music video for it, which you could also find on YouTube. And the director James Morano, he had this awesome concept about a woman in entertainment who shows up on her motorcycle, because I'm a motorist and I'm really passionate about it, and is being forced to kind of show herself off in all these ways she's not comfortable with. And at the end of the music video, she kind of just like lets loose and destroys the whole set and is just like, I don't want to be told what to do anymore. But we're also kind of left with that question, like, what am I made for? Realizing that we all have to kind of create that ourselves. We have to kind of be our own best friend, and we have to create our own path, and we have to kind of pick ourselves up when we're down and just make it happen for us one way or another. We got to be resilient,
I cannot
and
believe you just said what you said, create ourselves. I was going to read this poem at the end. I have to read it
uh
now.
go for it.
I can't believe you just said that because this poem that I wrote and I'm going to read is called Utilizing Gifts and Talents. And
Oh,
you just
wow.
said
Go for it.
you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
All right. So, if anybody out there is questioning your self worth, thinking you don't have anything to offer, you do. Everyone was born with a gift. And I don't care if you're a sanitation worker. We need Imagine if we didn't have sanitation workers.
Yeah.
Forget about it, right? Think about it.
Hmm.
So, everyone out there has something to offer, but you got to figure out what it is and you have to
Yeah.
do it, right? So, here we
Hmm.
go. Utilizing gifts and talents. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour, like this girl's doing. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. Don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, Gina B. Baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give. To yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And that's what you're doing.
I love that. I love that. And it's so true.
And
It's
that's what
so
you're
true.
doing.
It's Yeah. That's it. I believe in that. I want to we get one shot at this.
That's
I
right.
get one shot at this.
That's right.
So I'm going to make it work and I'm
That's
going to
right.
live in joy and I'm going to bring myself as much peace and joy as I can. I'm going to bring as much light to other people as I can. Sometimes we get it wrong, but that's okay. I like
That's
to
okay.
make mistakes and then I try to fix them and I try to do better next time. But I'm definitely a fighter and I try to live in as much fearlessness as I can. And even when I'm scared, I do things anyway.
Yep.
And that has worked to my benefit. So I just want to keep going. I just want to keep going until this body won't let me anymore. I always call myself a theatrical rock singer. I love to make things theatrical. I literally have a background in theater. So, although I love a standard ballad, I love a simple ballad, and I've had to sing a lot of jazz and I've had to sing a lot of show tunes and all that. If you give me the opportunity to take like a pop song and all of a sudden just make it super over the top theatrical and rock, that's probably what I'm going to do with it. Just same thing with my Women of Rock show because it's not a typical, it's not your typical, okay, just sing through a bunch of these songs that everyone's heard 1,000 times the same way. Our show has a vulnerable element to it where we're in conversation a lot with the audience and it's very big on the celebration element of it. And again, no impersonations. I'm not trying to be Janis Joplin. I'm not trying to be anything. In fact, I really like myself and I want to just be myself and share that with other people and have us all celebrate the same things together and empower each other through that. Yeah, and I'm totally open to hearing where people want to see these shows because I don't want to saturate a market. Um, and like I said, I do this because I love it. I do this because it's a calling for me. I need to pay bills, of course, but for me that's always secondary because a life without living my purpose for me is just not a life worth living.
There
A
you
life
go.
where I'm doing music for no good reason or I'm unhappy doing music is just I can't do that. I won't do that. So I want to bring these shows to places where people will appreciate them and want to share that with me. I work in a lot of other event bands. I sing at a ton of people's weddings. I get to sing at celebrity weddings and do fun things like that. And I do quite enjoy it because I get to be there on people's best day ever. And I make money singing. I mean, like what a privilege, right? So yeah, reach out to me, join me on social media. My Women of Rock, I have a Facebook page for Gina B's Women of Rock. I have a Facebook page for Gina B's The Queen Sings the King. I have my personal Instagram, which is always busy and buzzing with the current music projects I'm doing, and also the work I do with motorcycles, because I belong to a women's riding group on Long Island. I've been featured in an international publication for that. So if you like
Very
motorcycles, you should
cool.
follow me along as well. And if you go to my website, GinaBlardy.com, it'll take you to all these social media pages and you can look into all these projects. So
Very
start
cool.
there and then you can follow me on all the socials.
Very cool. Very cool.